So hello again. And actually this session that I am doing is just an introductory session to introduce the real expert on identification of the animals by Dr. Chavali. I have heard, I have seen your CV, and some of you have come from a different experience and different background. So I think the first section we would like to kind of like level out a little bit about the general knowledge of the marine mammals. So can I see who has been working with marine mammals rescue already? Please raise your hands. Rescue. Okay. Stranding network. Stranding network. Okay. Who is trying to get a stranding network going? Trying. Okay. And who has never actually really worked on it but would like to work on it? The stranding. Okay. And the Cambodia, have you started at all? Never. Okay, this is a good beginning. Okay. So it's a good start that we let's see what. So the general information on the endangered marine mammals. So I would like to introduce a little bit of the types of marine mammals that we are going to deal with, and we are going to learn about how to save them. Actually, starting with cetaceans. Cetaceans has been divided into three groups. I'm going to tell this very roughly because we are going into the detail later. The baleen whale, the river dolphins, and toothed whales. In your handouts, you will see the detail of what I'm talking about in the first session in the general knowledge. And you can see all these tables that have the common name, population, status, and distribution in the world, and also the picture of all the whales. The baleen whales that we are talking about, we have blue whales, bright whales, common minke whale, fin whale, and that's it. And when you say baleen, that means, you know, these animals have it's like a screen filter that will get the plankton and then eat grazing in the ocean. The next group is a toothed whale, and these animals obviously have teeth, and they're eating more like fish or other animals that, you know, need to be caught. In toothed whale, we will be talking about the Pacific humpback dolphin, common bottlenose dolphin, Indo-Pacific bottlenose dolphin, Fraser dolphin, spinner dolphin, striped dolphin, pygmy killer whale, false killer whale, and Irrawaddy dolphins, finless porpoise, sperm whale. Those are the types of. I'm sorry, I'm going through this very quickly because you have it in your handouts. And these are the animals that mostly they are carnivores, and they eat fish mostly, and also the little creatures in the ocean. And the last one, the river dolphin. I mean, I actually have no experience in the river dolphin, the ones in Beijing at all. But we in ASEAN river dolphins, we have the Irrawaddy dolphin that lives in fresh water. But the rest of them, it's a very rare animal, and most of them are being extinct. So we have the river dolphin, we have the Beijing dolphin, South Asian river dolphin, and the Amazon river dolphins. So those are the cetaceans that we are very familiar with because they have the same face. You know why people love dolphins? They're cute. You know why they're cute? Yeah, they said the animal that has a naturally smiley face, even when they're stranded and really. So I was amazed, you know, how much they can smile. So like the Thai people, we smile when we cannot do anything about it because they can't. We have also another animals that we would like to share with you because we have a few strandings, and this is one of the rarest animals on Earth, you know, that needs to be saved because they're so gentle, they're so nice, and thus they are being extinct because of human, and also also the environmental effects. These are the dugongs, and this is a distribution in the world, and this is the only region we have in the eastern part of Africa, in Asia, and also in the northern part of Australia. This is all the dugong that we have. After we talk about the dugong, we are the cetaceans. We are going into the turtles, because turtles doesn't have a smiley face, but they have a gentle heart. So it beats very slowly. So they live very long, and when the turtles are in need of help, it's very difficult for them to help themselves. So we also need to look at how to save the turtles in order to save the world. Actually, in my office, we not only work with sea turtle, we also work with freshwater turtles and also tortoises, because they are kind of like the same Chilonian group. But right now, we are talking about the sea turtle, because sea turtle has been the fascinating animal of the world, and everybody wants to save sea turtles. So luckily, the movement of conservationists has been quite successful in sea turtle. So we need to help them. In sea turtle, we have a green sea turtle, loggerhead sea turtle, or Ridley sea turtle, and you will see the difference with Dr. Chowlit's presentations. Hawksbill sea turtles, leatherback sea turtles, flatback sea turtles. This flatback I think we don't have in Thailand, but I think in some other countries we have it in Indonesia. One of the most important things we are using as a criteria of what animals that we need to save or not to save is the red list categories of all marine mammals, sea turtles, and elasmobranch in the world. As you know, IUCN has been putting up lists of animals, and this list is changeable. And we have actually today, Dr. Chowlit has been an influential man in changing this list. So if you have any problems in your countries, you also can talk to him like, why put me here, why not put me there, you know. So, we have a list, the red one, 2% of the animals that we are trying to save, these exotic marine animals. They are being critically endangered, and 5% endangered and 15% vulnerable to being extinct. And the green one is near threat, like almost being threatened. You know, and the last one is data deficiency. So as you see, the 29% that we have no data, whether they be extinct or not. For example, the freshwater giant stingray that we've been working with, Himatura Chaupraya, basically no data. Because the people who work with them doesn't like to write. For example, me. We also can see the marine mammals in IUCN red list category. You can see that the critically endangered species are this one. It's a 3% almost gone. Okay, 10% endangered, 10% vulnerable, 6% near threatened, and of course no data for 38%. And the least concerned, like nobody cares. Another 33%. When I say nobody cares, it means like they have no knowledge, and you know, they don't know what to do with it.
Quite common on things, but it may know that it may fit or not, may come up. Let's get that this is like a panel.
Like a lot. Too many. Yes, it's like a minus one scientist. Like scientist 10. Right now, the number of the threatened species in the world, including the land and the marine animals, you can see from the color. You know, mostly in Asia that we have problems, because we are killing not only the animals, we also kill the ecosystem. We kill the environment, so they cannot live. As as you see, the graph, as expected, the cetaceans has been declining since 1995. This is up to 2007. But I think if it goes down, it probably gets the same trend going down, 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 down here. So the abundance of the animals has been really decreasing. And you can see that, of course, mostly in Asia. Same thing happened in spotted dolphins, eastern spinner dolphins. So when you see it declines like this and it kind of like level out, it doesn't mean it's not going down. It means nothing to see. Maybe 1 or 2 animals at a time. So it's like the number has been depleted so much that when you make a survey, it is very difficult to judge whether they reduce or not. Dugong is the same problem because we have the estimate count and the actual count. Sometimes it's difficult when people go on survey and you cannot see the animals. It doesn't mean the animal is not there because we may be using too loud of a boat or maybe at the time they're sinking down or whatever. But the estimate number, sometimes when people talk to the locals or checking out numbers, that you cannot actually count the animals, but you can estimate or guesstimate how many left. So we have this is the number of dugong that left almost to the base level, less than 20. As you can see, the number going down very, very fast. Because the dugong takes a very long time to breed, very long time to grow up to be an adult, very long time to pregnant, and very fast to die. Now, on a summary of the threats of these animals, as you know, just to recap your thinking a little bit, is the exploitation of the animals, the bycatch, vessel strikes. We see that a lot in more in dugongs or manatee, because this animal doesn't think much when they want to breathe. They just come up and breathe. They don't look around and oh, motorboat coming or something like that. They're just so honest, like I want to breathe, and so they get propeller cut a lot. We have habitat loss and degradations, competitive with fisheries. This is a very sad picture actually. Conflict with aquaculture, because now aquaculture has been taking a lot of spaces in like the near shore, and they're having all these floating cages around, so the animals has been in conflict with them. Pollution and global climate change. The pollution and global climate change can be direct or indirect, has the effects on the animals, because like we have like runoff from the land, and now just like in Thailand in the south, we have a lot of rubber plantation coming, so or many plantations that use a pesticide and many things like that. So when it rains, it washes off to the ocean, and it's a boxing ring. So it affects the animals indirectly because the food that they're eating is being affected, so it affects the animals. When they cannot have food to eat because the food died, or it indirectly affects the physiology of the animals. So sea turtle has the same trend. That's why we are here today actually, because of these numbers. This is a loggerhead. And this is in Indonesia, the leatherback. I think in Thailand it's even worse than this for leatherback. We almost see none in Thailand, very rarely. So this is picture. It's a nice picture to tell that the world's 11 most threatened sea turtles population, of course, around us, around here. As a human influence on these declining populations, we have threats of sea turtles from land. It's a tourist development because of the lightings. Sea turtle doesn't like the artificial lights. They cannot come up and nest comfortably. We have a beach vehicle driving. We have beach erosion, and people try to put garbage on the beach, or they have to replenish the beach by using artificial sands and things like this. All affects the nesting of the sea turtle. Beach equipment, umbrellas everywhere, pink, yellow, blue, white, you know, and this is a sea turtle doesn't think the tree looks like that. So, and the predation from also human who likes to eat sea turtle eggs. Anybody has eaten sea turtle eggs before? I did. When I was young, it was served in the menu. Of course, it was long ago, as you can see. So it was nothing special. It's like eating not sand. I never eat sand. I don't know what it tastes like. But it's like eating a rubber, like a slightly rubbery egg. You know, it's a chewing gum that it's meltable. So and it's actually gross. The egg white doesn't harden. So it's like don't eat it. The threat in the sea is the incidental catch, the ghost gear that the animal cannot see, the boat collision, underwater explosion, predation, and the diseases and parasites. Have you ever seen the underwater explosion when people dynamite fish? It was very scary. I've been teaching diving since 1985, and during that time they did a lot of dynamite fishing in Thailand, and actually it was scary. Everything has a busted stomach and explode, and almost got, you know, if human in there, you know, we lost all the hearing and everything. I got out a little bit before, but a little bit brain damage. So this is like overall, they don't give me much time, they said I talk too much. So this is the overall picture of all the animals that we will be talking about during this course. And of course, if you have time at night before you go to bed, please read the manual. It will be on the post test. Okay, thank you very much for the general information. May I invite, are you going to invite or I invite? No, I invite you to invite Dr. Tony.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Naturika. And so we will continue. I will begin the second topic. The second topic, Dr. Shavalit Vikian will take a responsibility in this presentation. Dr. Shavalit is a senior aquatic ecology specialist environment program of the Mekong River Commission. He found numerous species of aquatic animals in Thailand. He is also a contributor to Nature's checklist of molluscan fauna for the Office of Natural Resources and arranging many valuable workshops. So it's time to begin the next topic. Identification of rare marine animal in the Greater Mekong subregion. Please, Dr. Shaman.
Good morning, everybody, and thank you to Dr. Naturika to give me a chance for this presentation. I would like to say the overview of the identification. What character is the best and simple to apply for identification, both a lifespan for rescue, for save them alive and back to the sea, and also the dead or carcass that for scientific research. So if you know what is species, you can do the next step in the suitable way, like in point of view of veterinarian. You can use or treat them in suitable if you know which group of that or which species of that animal, and also turtle. And also in the record of the scientific record for marine biodiversity, so you know the occurrence, you know the food and everything based on the food identification knowledge. So the outline will be into main chapter that marine turtles, that not so many, 5 species, and marine mammal. So context of both outline almost the same. Overview on the evolution, taxonomy and classification, and also key character. But in case of the marine mammal, we may have a little bit more about their life standard and also their skull or their skeleton. So I will say first on the sea turtle or marine turtle first. Firstly, this animal have been evolved since the dinosaur era, or so-called the Mesozoic, that before 65 million years ago up to something 200 million years ago, that I'm not remember the number well. So the sea turtle is the most primitive taxa of the all turtle family in the world. So the most primitive sea turtle, and then go to freshwater, and the most advanced is the tortoise, or the real terrestrial turtle that you may know about the Galapagos turtle, or the big turtle, giant turtle of Antarctica Island, something like that. The fossil, well known, the fossil that is Archelon. Archelon have very big size, almost giant one, that never found in the recent turtle one. But their structure, their bone, their fossil shape almost look closely to the marine turtle. So they know that their biology may be same as the marine turtle right now. They may living mainly in the sea, mating there, but come back to the land for nesting. The turtle, they have several characters, and they have very specialist anatomical features, and also morphology that you can identify them. So they have very adaptive for marine life. Like they have the soft band, they have the fin, or their feet adapted to the fin, and also only one group of turtles that cannot retract their appendix and their head in their carapace. So another turtle, like the land turtle and freshwater, can retract their head and hide their feet when it was threatened. But marine turtle cannot do like that, so it's almost vulnerable for the predator, especially sharks. Tiger sharks love to bite their leg before to eat them. But that's not the main threat. But the main threat is the human activity, human being. So the key character of the marine turtle, including coastal scale, or the number of the scale on the back, also head and scale pattern on head, carapace shape, some round, some oval, and some very distinctive, like the glitterback, that have the same name in Thai and in Malaysian name, that penyu belimbing. It means starfruit turtle. So you know belimbing or muffin in Thai. But they have the English name said that because they have no hard skill on their back, so they call it glitterback. Another turtle, you can distinguish them by the number of the skill, and also shape of head, and also shape of the carapace as well, including some case of the color. So I will show just overview of the animal. Like this glitterback, not only the shape so distinctive, but they within the oral cavity in the mouth, they have something spiny and soft papillae in their mouth. So it might be used for capture of the jellyfish. This is only one species of the turtle that eat wholly on the jellyfish. But why it have really bad taste, really bad sense of taste? So it's always eat plastic bag. So the plastic bag in the sea now is the main threat to the marine biodiversity. Not only turtle, but many kinds of animals die for the plastic bag, including whale. Maybe next to the blue whale and other things that they eat the plastic bag, come from both the balloon. When we release the balloon on land for any ceremony, or your kid playing it and release it accidentally, it goes to the sea and goes to the turtle stomach and then cause death. Also, this little bag eat the plastic bag and any kind of the plastic garbage, and then for the one of the main cause, apart from fishing mortality, because this meat or its flesh are very untasty and even poisonous due to the over vitamin A, over carotene. So nobody eat it, but it always entangled with the fishing net. But the main treat for consumption is their egg. It's so big, like a tennis ball, and very expensive right now. The green turtle also, even it's not color green but white, this color is have the name of green turtle. It's the one number one taste. So who know that? Their food, you mean their food is green? So who is the one is not right? Okay, so nobody get the win this because the name of green turtle is been their fat. Long time ago, the cosmetics, cosmetic formula use their fat inside the body. Their fat have the color of green, so it's named green turtle. Long time ago, they use their fat to one component of the cosmetic, maybe your lotion or something. But recently, nobody used that. And also, it's fresh, edible and very good edible. The second test is which place is the popular and the main production of the green turtle farming. Do you know that? Who know that? Which place in the world at the most popular and the most highest number of the green turtle farming? They're farming turtle for food and for many products legally in the world. Only one place. Bali? No, Bali is the fishing and illegal. But this place is legal.
United States.
Yeah, United States. Where? New York, DC, or California? Okay, nobody can answer. This one also really good for the money laundering. You know money laundering? The corruptionists also use the money laundering, including someone, Thaksin Shinawatra. That is the Cayman Island. Cayman Island. So they're farming the turtle legally, and also they do R&D for release them in the field, in the wild. And they know that, later they know that the farming the turtle, so-called head start, may not work. Because head start, they release the domesticated turtle. When they found the fishermen, they go to the fishermen because they thought that the fishermen will provide the food in the farm and it's captive and dead. So the good release of turtle might be just hatching. Head start may be applicable for some of the ex situ conservation, but for really conservation may not work. They might release them very young from the egg, and they know their naturally magnetic detective, their instinct. But also the turtle survival in naturally, we omit the human impact or predator or activity. The turtle survival rate is very low. 2,500 eggs may come back to the shore as the spawner. Only one pair. It means 2 per 2,500 survival rate in the natural condition. So if we plus human impact and other impact, it may less than that. Very much less than that. Maybe just some 0 point something. So that's now why all turtle in the world become critically endangered. So go to the next one. This is the hawksbill. Their name also reflect their shape because they have the face, their snout and dorsal. Its mouth look like hawk, very sharp or pointed one. Also, the carapace is something like imitated carapace. They overlap together. It looks like the roof tile. If you see the roof tile will implicate like this because to avoid and protect the rainfall or the water. So they have to indicate that your roof tile like this overlapping. Whereas another turtle, it looks like your floor tile. When you go to toilet, you can see the toilet. They put together, not to overlap like on the roof. That is the other kind of the turtle. So this one very distinctive character at the roof tile, and also very distinctive biology because this only one tetrapod animal that feed mainly on spongy. Spongy also food of many invertebrate and fish, but never eat by any tetrapod animal. Only the hawksbill turtle eat mainly on spongy, and maybe sometimes they eat coral at their desert or their seaweed, and also some algae, but not meat. Whereas the green turtle eat mainly on the sea grasses and some algae, and rarely eat the meat like some small vertebrate. The next one is the olive ridley turtle. Ridley turtle has been known as two species in the world: the Indo-Pacific, so-called olive ridley, and also they have the Kem ridley turtle that occur in the Eastern Pacific around USA. So this one is the one species of turtle that have highest number of their skill. So when you saw the turtle and you count their costal skill, it has highest number. Sometimes 6, sometimes 7, something like that. Also its head, the scale on the head look very irregular, whereas other species look very patterned. So this one is the highest number of the turtle in the Pacific water, and also their status is the best one because they are very adaptive to eat many kinds of the benthic animal and some coral and some algae, and also they have the highest population in the world right now, both in Indo-Pacific area and also in USA. In USA, they have one place so-called Arribada. It means arrival. In one night, maybe Costa Rica or somewhere, in some the certain night, in full moon, 10,000 of the turtle come to the shore for nesting, and they have some regulation for collect the lost egg or standard egg for people to get them for food and make manage to hatching and release them. That in Costa Rica case. In Thailand also have, in this region also have the concession to take the turtle nest long time ago, but right now it's so rare and so endangered, so that concession is abandoned already. Next one is the rare one in the Pacific water. In this region, occasionally occur so-called the loggerhead turtle. This one also very aggressive turtle. If you're not handling them carefully, you bite your hand or even lost your finger because it's quite aggressive one. They have to fighting with that predator that is sharks. This turtle will fighting with the sharks bravely. And also their food is the big crustacean like the expensive thing like spiny lobster. It very love to eat spiny lobster and other big crustaceans. They use their strong mouth to catch their shell, and also they eat some mollusks too. So the loggerhead turtle is quite rare, and their nesting place is around the subtropical island, like in Japan or somewhere in the subtropical island. In this region, they have the main nesting place in Japan, in Okinawa, and some island, southern Japan, but no nesting place around the Southeast Asia. The last one is the flatback. Flatback is very rare in Southeast Asia. Only southern Indonesia, like Sulawesi, have only few records for bycatch or for some survey. But then their main habitat is in northern Australia. So this one is really Australian species. So they can distinguish by their upturned edge of carapace and also very flat body. Hence the name flatback turtle. The population still safe because Australia has very good management on conservation. So this one also the most safe population, but also they still suffer on the bycatch of the fishing activity when they go around water outside Australia. Sometimes the stranded or the carcass left only skeleton, so you can identify by their skull. The shape of the turtle skull very distinctive for each species. Look also similar to their alive, except the skill or scale on their forehead disappear or decompose out already. But you can see the shape of their mouth or their lip still remain distinctive character. Both green, Litterback, they have something like notched and luxuriated mouth, so that's really distinctive. Apart from the size of the Litterback head is really big. And other turtle also reflect by their head, like this one look like hawks or look like eagle head. That is the hawk's turtle. So this one good character for turtle. In case of the dead and decomposed, rotted already, you can identify them by their skull. So I will go next to the main and bigger section. That is a marine mammal in the Southeast Asia or in the Greater Mekong sub-region. At least now 30 species of marine mammal occur in this region, including one rare record of seal. So, do you know which country have the record of the seal in the Southeast Asia? Who can answer? No, China is not Southeast Asia. I think we have representative from that country here.
Vietnam.
Vietnam, yes. In the coast of Vietnam, so called, I would like to say the water of the Vietnam, Vietnam or East Sea. And know that Vietnam is not happy to hear South China Sea, right?
No, actually it's okay for us.
Yeah. So they call the East Sea.
It's not okay for us.
West Philippine Sea.
Huh?
West Philippine Sea.
Yes. Yes, also. Yeah. But we might find in the next some international meeting or conference, we might find the best name for unaccepted surrounding this South China Sea. Maybe they might have the new name. I think. Yeah, something like that. The marine mammal in the Southeast Asia mainly composed with the cetacean, so-called whale and dolphin. So whale and dolphin is one member of the mammal that close to the group of the superorder Lauraceatheria. This one they have originated in Lauracea, it means the northern continent. So in the world continent from long time ago, before dinosaur or before animal become in the world, they have the two main continental. The big plate, so-called one is Laurasia, another one is the Gondwana land. Gondwana land is southern, composed with India, Australia, and Antarctic, and including South America. So the Laurasia is mean North America and Eurasia. So they call Laurasia. So that animal, including carnivore, hoofed animal, it means something like cow, deer, giraffe, and so on. And some other animal like the fox and penguin. It's a scaly animal, also the same member of the Lauraceatheria, including whale. So whale have very close relative to the hoofed animal. And also the manatee are the cousin of which animal in the world? Manatee and dugong, closely to which animal? So this one is another case.
Elephant.
Yes, good, elephant. Also so-called the group of the Afrotheria, because the originate of this group of animal, of mammal. We found that most of the African species, including aardvark, 10 legs, some animal in the Madagascar, and elephant and hyrax are the same group, so-called Afrotheria, including Sirenia or manatee and dugong. So the marine mammal classification have the member of two groups, as I said, and we have cetacea around 28 species, maybe more and more record from some of the temperate species or subtropical species we occur more. Carnivore and pinnate, we have one that I said in Vietnam we found very rare white rat, Sirenia, one species. So another test, in the last test, which one is the close relative of the cetacean? In this picture, which one is the close? Very good. Right, hippopotamus. So we found that the otto, something like horse and rhinoceros, even though like deer and cow, they have. So the cetacea are very close relative to hippopotamus. including their DNA, their behavior, and their physiology, and some anatomy feature. The whale have originated from the Tethys Sea. Tethys Sea is a long time ago that the sea in between the continent. Because our continent moving all the time, even right now it's still moving. That's why they cause earthquake, tsunami, and eruption. Because our world keep moving. Underworld, also called someone may believe that it's a hell. It's really hell because it's composed of the lava or still melted and extremely hot melted rock underworld that make our continental still moving right now, and you can see their leakage or their hole become the underwater volcano and also land volcano, some active and some dead, and someone waiting for next eruption, who knows. That's why the continent long time ago it looked unlikely the present time, but the animal occur there left their evidence at the fossil, so they have the fossil of very old and ancestor of the whale and dolphin around the world that look unlikely the cetacean right now because it's evolved from the tetrapod animal. They living in the land long time ago, and their shape look like dogs or hyena long time ago, and they become look like otter and they become whale. So you can see, first it look like the smallest one look like that, and living semi-aquatic like otter. This one occur in Western India and Pakistan, so-called Indo-Hyus. So the whale evolved from 65 million years ago to 34 million years ago for the ancestor group or the very strange one. That's 10 million years after extinction of the dinosaur, so-called KT boundary. Now you can see that the phylogenetic evolution of the animal look like this. Their co-relative is the hippopotamus, and some animals look they reduce their leg, become fit, and right now you can see the most complete cetacean shape look like fish rather than mammal, and living only in waters, both fresh and marine. So also their physiological and anatomical features. When the Crustacean or the land ancestor, so-called Ambulocetus, have ear, have pinna, and also their nose is on the head tip or on the dorsal tip. That is the more aquatic, living like otters. But when they go to the sea or nearly aquatic, their nostrils become to the middle of the head, and also they have no more pinna, but they have only inner ear and very small opening ear. The aquatic form, they can hear the water through the vibration of the water through their lower jaws, and also same as the modern dolphin. But the modern dolphin have more advanced because they can emit and send their sound from their melon to the water for communication with other individuals or with their friends, and also maybe other species. And also they can hear the voice throughout their lower jaws. So this feature also same as in hippopotamus. When hippo go to the submerged, they do like this. They also can send some sound underwater and hear the sound underwater throughout their lower jaw. That's why the evolution still exists the same, as well as the DNA also reflect that they are the close relative right now. Also, the whale ancestor has been give their birth on land, do like otters. This one, Pakistan, they found the fossil in the brooder or the pregnant one in Pakistan. So it revealed that this animal give their birth on land first, and when they go to the real aquatic, they give their birth underwater, live whale or dolphin, and also dugong. Long time, not so long time ago, that means it's a Cenozoic, around some 30 million to 10 million years ago, have so diverse of the whale and dolphin type. The fossil cetacea have so diverse. Some species look like walrus or narwhal, and they feed same as the walrus do. They feed on benthic organism, and they use the one dorsal appendix or dorsal teeth look like walrus. Most of the enigmatic fossils found in the South America, and right now may be found more and more species from the South America. Some species look like a giant killer whale, even can eat or can predate on the young of blue whale, like this size. They bigger than killer whale around 4 or 5 times, and it was, but still smaller than the blue whale, the recent blue whale. So the blue whale is only one creature, that the biggest creature or the biggest animal, let's say animal, not creature, because the coniferous plant, the sequoia, still bigger than killer whale, blue whale, and also some fungi. They found that some fungi also have really big size. They like soil underground. The big. They said that around 16 times of the Kew Garden. They have the fungi spread in network underground, very big, maybe same as half the size of the Phuket Island. That is the biggest creature in the world. And the second one is the sequoia, the one kind of the coniferous tree that's still bigger than blue whale. But if we compare with animals only, blue whale is the biggest animal ever occur in the world. Even now they found the bigger dinosaur than T-Rex or than the Brontosaurus in South America. Even the biggest dinosaur still smaller than blue whale. So this one is the biggest animal. The cetacea taxonomy has several family, many families. So I want to omit or skip the family that do not occur in this region, like some South American dolphin, Chinese freshwater dolphin. So I left only the one occurred in this region, and some close relative like the narwhal or modern hominid. We found that the fossilidae or porpoise, they have very distinctive teeth and shape, body shape. Globally have 7 species, but right in Southeast Asia have only 1 species. And they found that, they thought that this finless porpoise very wide distributed from Japan, southern Japan, China to Southeast Asia. Actually it's not, because the northern Pacific one, different species, also in the Yangtze River, that different subspecies and endangered one. And also very common in Japan. So if you go to Japanese aquarium, you can see this one, finless porpoise, very popular. So in the Southeast Asia, quite uncommon, but you may see in your laboratory, right? We bring one sample for that. So this species in Thai called Aikid. Some place, some locally called Aikid. Aikid is mean something imitate to female penis emerald, because their shape look like that. Another one is Delphinidae. Delphinidae is the most diverse cetacea in the world, composed of 36 and maybe more and more, because some population of Australia may be separated into another species like the humpback, and also the humpback of the Indian Ocean and Pacific Ocean. Some study may suggest that different species too, but they need more confirm. The sperm whale include another small or dark sperm whale Cochiidae. Now in Southeast Asia occur three species. The marine one occur around 6 species, and the toothed whale or the so-called beaked whale have 22 species throughout the world, but most of them are boreal or cold water species, except some temperate and tropical species have 5 occur in this region. So, Dr. Natrika mentioned already what is the marine and what is the toothed whale. The whale and dolphin can identify by several parts of their anatomical and morphological features, like their fin, queue, fluke, and also their head and teeth, including the brow bone. The brow bone in marine whale have double or two, and also in the toothed whale have only one. So you can see that teeth structure. So called baleen, it looks like the filter for planktonic feeder or small, not only plankton, they feed on some big fish too, not so big fish like mackerel, small mackerel, anchovy, and herring. Some species do like that, and some species eat the krill or small shrimp or planktonic. And also some species eat the benthic organism. They have to dig out on the ground, on the sea floor, to eat some small benthic, not orcas. Not cockle. They eat something like amphipod and isopod in underground. Which species do that? Humpback? No. Humpback eat the planktonic or pelagic fish and other. Look like humpback. They occur same place of humpback. No. You don't eat toothed whale. I mean the baleen whale, but eat the benthic organism. No, rocker whale is the name of the baleen. That is a gray whale, not occur here, but occur in very rare in Japan and most common in USA, in Pacific of the USA. Gray whale. They have different families, something Irish, something like that. I cannot remember the name. Gray whale also dig out the sea floor for the small animal. The gray whale, the best place to see gray whale that is in California, because they have the migration route. Also in the Baja California, in Mexico, they have the migration route from the North Pole or from Alaska through California, like San Francisco. Somewhere in San Francisco, you can see the gray whale migration during something like before summer. And also they do the young, feeding the young in the Baja California in Mexico. So the feature of the baleen whale is very interesting because baleen whale, their baleen evolved from the toothed. The baleen whale are more advanced or more evolution than the toothed whale, and they have the tooth tucked in the fetus of the young. When we dissect the young whale, you can see that teeth or teeth butt evidence in this animal. So we know that the baleen whale evolved from the toothed whale. But very interesting that the sperm whale was evolved from the baleen whale. So their DNA and their structure from the baby or the fetus show that the sperm whale has been baleen whale. So they have something like reverse evolution. They evolved from the toothed whale to baleen whale, and then some of the baleen whale member evolved back to become the toothed whale. That is the sperm whale group. That's quite interesting evolution. We have many guidebook, texts, and publications about the marine mammal identification. Some very common in the market, like this one, and also something like the Hamlin or some handbook published in USA, in UK, in European, and Japan. Many publications so common in bookstore, like this one. And also FAO also published one, but quite rare right now. And some textbook, you have to browse in Amazon.com. You can see many books of the marine mammal of the world. Identification guide are accessible or not much expensive price. But some books quite expensive and rarely accessible, like the African subspecies. This one really cool because they show both alive and skull and some good character of the Southern African subregion, but covering the Southeast Asian species, many species covered by this text. And also another one quite up there, this one, the Handbook of Mammal of the World, now become volume 4 on of the mammal, published from something like hoof animal, monkey, and whale, and carnivore, published already. So this one really good for both biology and identification guide. It's a real textbook. If you afford, I suggest you to buy this. Without any commission from the company. I have no interest on that. I mean, no conflict interest on that. Also, this one published, written by one of the Israelite experts, Mr. Sidichai. Also, really good for whale, dolphin, and seal identification. And the most updated one is the Thai marine mammal, and including turtle. It's just published, but regulatory is only Thai language, but have scientific name, also have very good illustration, so you can use it or you can access it. Please consult to the staff of this institution for the access. Also, it's upload. You can upload in the internet. They are uploading already. So I will go to the detail on the identification of the cetacean. They have the key character. Only some key characters you can use. That is the head and body that I showed already in the previous slide. Mouth and jaw shape, teeth size, and also number. Also, in the living one, you can do observe through their pasteurization, like the swimming, surfacing, breaching, and their brow pattern in very far or remote. You can see what species occurring. So this one good for the record and also good for ecotourism purpose. Coloration also really good that you see them closely in a life, but not applicable in the dry stranded carcass, because when they dry stranded or they're suffering or injury, their color become black or really how to say, not beautiful color already when they're suffering, but the coloration will be good on the fleshly stand or a live one. Body size comparison, some species look very good, very similar on their shape, but their body size of the full grown can be compared. You can see their age. The expert can see their age of that animal and their size. Skull shape and detail, including some of the key bone, even some kind of the limb, can identify the whale from apart from the two species. When the carcass decompose, left only the bone, you can see some key character of the bone can identify. So this one is an example of the head, body, and fin, including jaw, for identification, like the Indo-Pacific snubfin, also called Irrawaddy dolphin, spinner, bottlenose, and many things. You can see their head are different already. That's the last breed of the very different group. You can use this detail for your identification. And also when they are alive, in case of the whale, their pattern of the blowing are completely different, including their position and pattern of blow, because they have the blowhole in different shape. They have different shape of their lung and their anatomical feature. So they make the blow pattern in differently. Also their behavior, you can see in the far side. Some diving with tail fluke topic, and some diving without their tail fluke or fragment shoulder. Also the size comparison, some whale look very similar, like the group of the log whale look very similar. So you can see the size of the full grown or of their different age. That compare with the species, you can see that the dolphin or some is smaller and bigger, like the 4 kilo whale, so-called blackfish or big blackfish, including the killer whale. And also they have some species of the toothed whale and marine whale in different sizes. But even in one species may have different size of their population and maybe suggest different species. Like blue whale in the tropical zone of Indian Ocean is much smaller than the blue whale in the temperate or cold water zone. Also, some killer whale, they have very wide distribution from the North Pole to South Pole, but color pattern and behavior completely different. Some love to eat small marine mammal, and some very restricted to fish, and some very violent. They can eat marine mammal and fish, like the tropical one. So this character may suggest that if the DNA or molecular study have more confirmation, they might be separate in different taxa in the near future for the killer whale and many kinds of whale. And they have published for the separation of species of whale and dolphin right now, more and more. Like in the case of the Australian water, many species in the Australian water and Southeast Asia are differentiated already, like the snubfin or Irrawaddy dolphin. So the taxonomic information may change the IUCN list status too, because their population of the distinct species become different number and reflect more trees on different regions. Like in Australian region, most of the species not trees still safe, population still safe, or this concern or that whatever, and also the population in Southeast Asia become more endangered because we know that we are different things. The species in this region and in the Australian region are different things. The number count and calculation will be different too. And also in case of the whale are the same thing. And some whale very small size in the tropical but very big size in the temperate. And we have to use the biogeographic information. If they have very separate biogeographic, their gene flow cannot do in different regions. Their species will be evolved into the full or wild species with more scientific information to confirm. But right now we still lump them in subspecies or the same species provisionally. Also the size comparison of the cetacean we can do with ourselves or with the human. So you can see that many species are very different, like the big whale to the big blackfish, and also small dolphin compared with ourselves. And also when they landed in not a good shape, we can compare with our size and what kind of the group of the whale in the size first, and then we go to the anatomical feature to confirm that which group. This one, can you identify this species? For sure. Yes, only Homo sapiens. For sure, it decomposed a lot. So we have to use their skull and their teeth and their hard character to confirm which species. This one is sperm whale. Just stranded in the Nong last month. So I want to show some main character of the whale, like the rostral, head, teeth shape, and also the number of the teeth. Like the porpoise have very spade-shaped teeth, whereas dolphin have cardine or pointed teeth. This one is a good character. Also the sequence of the teeth in sperm whale are very far apart for each tooth. Have situated in very far apart in case of the sperm whale. And also in the pygmy sperm whale have different teeth. And also the four killer whale and spinner dolphin have different number of the teeth. So this one is the teeth, dorsal and jaw character to use for identification. Firstly, when you see the animal, their head and their mouth will be the good identification feature, including fish, birds. No, same as, I think the same as human. If they're lost, they may have to. I'm not sure about whale. 30 teeth. And maybe same as ordinary mammal, they have to set that is the milk teeth and adult teeth. Right? Who know that? Well, unlike shark can change every time. Shark also.
Not like shark.
They're not like shark. Only to set like milk teeth and the full teeth, right? Or have only one set from that role.
I'm not sure if all of them.
I see. I see. Same as human. We not change totally. So same.
I think it's about the
So they have two sets. Let's say that have two sets, that is the milk teeth and the full teeth. But the teeth theory are completely different in the case of the elephant. Elephant also have milk teeth, only one milk teeth when they are just newborn, just someone like this fingertip, and then they lost, and also the next teeth of the elephant become the full grown teeth. But the elephant, the teeth not come like our cell, because our cell will be the same teeth, milk teeth, born, the adult teeth come to replace. But elephant they replace from backward, forward. Six set of the teeth in elephant. So the last one, they go together. The former one will be worn out and loose. So the last one will go when they full grown. So the old elephant, if they lose their teeth, it means that the end of their life, because they can't eat anymore. That is the animal, that is the elephant theory. So different from us, from dog. Dog have the two set, change time to time. Maybe whale and dolphin do the same. So the main cause of the stunting of the cetacea and other mammal, mainly from fishing activity and marine solid waste, like plastic bag and our plastic bag from the 7-Eleven, that we throw a lot of them. I think Phuket now become to the plastic bag free province, same as some country. The main threat to cetacean and marine mammal that mainly come from the fishing activity, like the species of Irrawaddy dolphin in Songkhla Lake, in Mekong River, dead from the fishing activity. Then it was consumed incidentally or opportunistically. And also in case of the big whale and some other species will suffer from garbage, both ingest and also stuck with the garbage, including turtle. So this one is the cause that if we know that we can know how to take care of them. So I asked Dr. Natrika that if you found the whale, or let's say whale eat many of the plastic bag and still not dead or not coma, can we save them for a life? This section can be.
Mostly we get to the stomach, the acid in the stomach will dissolve part of the basket and become toxic to the liver. So that's why too late. And the obstruction, but you can use the endoscope and the system or just cut it over the system.
They have success case or not right now? Success case.
Yeah, it's easy because in captivity it's easy because you can see it early. So you can just take it out. But
In the wild.
eventually they will scratch. Mostly they're almost dead.
Coma already.
But I can take out.
Also, this one is the example of the skull shape of the killer whale or fox killer whale. They have very different shape of their skull and also different number of teeth. Also occur in other species that you can use in case of the rotten started one. And dimension of the head from the top side, lateral side, and also detail of the lower jaw. So this one occur in the book of the Southern African marine mammal. Also in the top side, you can compare that they have some closely related species and also compare with the fossil species, how they're different, and some populated like the sperm whale. Common sperm whale and draft sperm whale look very similar here, just different in size and in biology. But most of this one maybe the sperm whale consume giant squid and some of the cephalopod. But I don't know what that sperm whale consume. Maybe jellyfish because we found plastic bag in their body. Maybe they consume some kind of jellyfish or some kind of the cephalopod. Who know that? Please tell me. Who know the food of the draft sperm whale? I mean naturally. They have no case in the aquarium keeping, right? Really difficult to see. So we go to species account roughly and go quickly because maybe you have to suffer on the lunch count. So you go to the Indo-Pacific village porpoise. Now we have 2 species already. From the one, this one is the Chinese species. I cannot find the picture of the Indo-Pacific one, also the Asian one, also Irrawaddy dolphin. Have many population. The coastal population is still safe, but the freshwater are in danger. No, they jump and also Irrawaddy very naughty, very playful. Sometimes they squirt the water to the seabird. They're teasing birds and also teasing the keeper by squirt the water. Also in naturally they jump too. So this one is Indo-Pacific humpback dolphin. This one also popular in Hong Kong and so in Thailand for whale watching, but quite rare.
Could you, when you ask that question, any question, could you use microphone for the people behind who can guess what you are talking about?
And also please introduce before asking, so we know. The Indo-Pacific humpback have different color in their age, like the Indian Ocean almost black on the top, but Pacific become pinkish in the older specimen. So it suggests maybe different. At least now we put them in different subspecies, but next time maybe different species, including the Australian one. And also this one is the long-nosed dolphin, composed with several species, including common dolphin and tropical spotted. The young of tropical spotted dolphins still very plain color, but their spotted occur when they grow up. Also spinner dolphin have the pinkish belly and smaller size in the Southeast Asian one, the so-called the pink belly spinner dolphin and or draft spinner dolphin, quite smaller size than other population. But some species are still same in most of the population, like the last tooth one. Bottlenose dolphin are now they separate already from Adanthus and Tancarthus. And in Japanese water, maybe different subspecies like Kinlai or something like that. They have the longer head, longer snout, and shorter snout population. In our region, have the longer snout. But in Southern Africa, have both population. Also the Fraser dolphin, striped dolphin. When they are alive, you can see their color pattern very good. But when they're dead, they may become same. Also this one so-called the black fish, the black big fish, including the melon head, pygmy killer whale, and sharkfin parrot whale. They have different shape of their head and also their mouth and their teeth. Also the killer whale have many population, and the false killer whale still have same population throughout the world. And look very similar to killer whale with their shape and their behavior. Because this one love to eat the big fish like tuna and billfish. They can hunt in the pack. But killer whale very various. Even the stingray, they like to eat the stingray. Sometimes some records show that they even hunt the whale shark. And also when they hunt the gray whale in USA, that's very strange and very wasteful hunting because they try to kill the young, the calf of the gray whale, but they not eat on body. They eat only their tongue and their lower jaw, and less the body. gone. The dead body gone. So very thin. But when they eat other animal, they eat only some, most of the part. Also, the sperm whale, this one, they expel their pools or their feces. The sperm whale also have almost the same population or same species, but the male have very bigger size than female. The pygmy sperm whale have very similar body, but the dwarf one is smaller and have a little bit different on their jaw and color pattern. So this one mostly we found them occur by static, but in the natural it's quite rare. Also, in case of the rocker whale, the most popular one is the Buddha whale. Buddha whale also have two types. One type is the oceanic, in the Indian Ocean, and another type is Sitang. They call the Sitang whale or the coastal population. But most of them different only type, but their only size, but their type of the queue on their dorsal are different from the Omula one. The Omula has no queue, whereas the Buddha whale have 3 queue, including the center queue. So this one can use for identification roughly by the living one or the fleshly standard one. And also the color of the Omula whale have asymmetrical. The right jaw have white color, but left jaw have dark color. Also this occur in fin whale and other species. And also blue whale, you can see the blue whale in this region quite smaller than the temperate one. But the bone of blue whale you can see in Museum of Bogor and Museum in Yangon Zoo. If you're interested, you can visit the Yangon Zoo to see the blue whale skeleton, and also in the museum, zoology museum in Bogor, Indonesia. And the humpback whale very distinctive, and I think needless to say what is different because they have really long pectoral fin or very long leg, long front leg. Also, this one are very difficult and very rarely seen in the whale watching activity. That is wicked whale. We have at least 5 species occurring, including the cobia, red whale, the long man, wicked whale. So this one quite rare, but now we found more picture of the alive in natural habitat. And this one is the ginkgo-tooth whale. Have been identified only one species, but we found more of the tropical ginkgo-tooth whale that become different one. They're so-called Delaniyagala wicked whale because they have different type of the tooth and different shape of the body, and also smaller size than the toothed ginkgo-tooth whale. This one so-called Delaniyagala toothed whale occur in this region, in Sri Lanka and upper Southern Africa, and may occur in Thailand or our Southeast Asia too. And this one only rare record, maybe 2 or 3 record in Vietnam, in northern Vietnam, like around Da Nang and somewhere, I cannot remember.
In central Vietnam.
Huh?
In central Vietnam.
Da Nang City. Yeah, in central Vietnam. They refer to twice time.
I believe 5 times.
5 times already. Yes.
We don't know how many anymore there. There is some record from the local fishermen, and it's very good to say that capture and relate.
Maybe this one can indicate the climate change or global warming because this one may be lost the time from the ice pack on the northern sea. They go the ice pack when they melted and they flow through the oceanic current near the tropical, and when they melt up, this seal also stranded. But they're quite common in Korea and China too, like the mascot of the Asian Games. In Korea. So I will go to the last section of the Silenia. We know that already the Silenia are the same group of elephant and other Afrotheria, including the highlands. And long time ago they have some classic look like hippo, so-called Desmostylus. They're fossil found in Japan and in California. So it's one the same of the classic of the Selenia. The Selenia was semi-aquatic and terrestrial ancestor to same as elephant, same as whale. They have tetrapod and can walk along the coastal water, the so-called Pestos Island. Most of the fossil of the ancestor Selenia found in Southern America and Central America, including Jamaica and somewhere in Peru. And they evolved into shorter high leg and become the true Selenia just some years ago. Like this one, the Dugong airline, we found them in American waters, the fossil form, and also found in Indian waters. So Dugong has been distributed throughout the three oceans long time ago, and now left only one species still alive, but they have two living species. One living species extinct on the 18th century. That's so-called stellar sea cow. So this one eat mainly on kelp, you know kelp, or something like kombu, you know kombu, the algae, edible algae, the thick one and salty one in the Japanese food. So the kelp is the main food of the stellar sea cow. But after they was identified and published as a new species, just less than 70 years ago, it's extinct and gone forever. And now we left only 5 living species throughout the world, mostly in the American and African water, so-called manatee. Manatee have the fluke, rounded fluke, whereas dugong have a forked fluke, same as fish or same as dolphin. So the manatee occur in West America, West African, Amazon, and around Florida. And we just found new species of the Antillian manatee or the glass manatee some years ago. So this one is a dugong studied in Phuket and was investigated by our expert, Ms. Kanchana. So the shape of the skull of dugong is look like elephant right now, look mostly similar, and have two tusks that come from the canine teeth. The tusk of the elephant and dugong that come from canine, not come from canine teeth, come from the incisor teeth, not canine. Our front teeth derived into tusk of the elephant or ivory. So ivory of the dugong that the main treat because the people try to hunt and extract this one for sale as the amulet or something very expensive one. So thank you very much.
So thank you very much, Dr. Cho. So if anyone has a question, please feel free to ask. You have a question?
I have a question about the tooth of the dugong. When people cut it for sale, do they have the canal, tooth canal
Yes,
that goes in? Is it long? Is it like elephant long, or is it short?
look like elephant, but I think more exact detail, please ask Mr. Okkiet or Mr. No. I think he know better than me.
Mr. ต้องเกียรติค่ะ Can you answer if the tooth of the canal of the dugong tooth, does it go? If I want to cut it, how long can I cut it before it gets to the canal?
If you have the skull like about this size, so the size the tusk of the dugong will go inside about this length.
About the canal inside.
Yeah, that's the canal inside. The one that you saw outside is only maybe 20% or
โครงร่างฟัน
15.
โครงร่างฟันยาว
ยาวมาก
โครงร่างฟันยาวที่ถึงไป
มันจะยาวเข้าไปในส่วนของกระโหลกเลยครับ
โครงร่างฟันนะ
ตรงข้างใน
of the tusk or
ใน
the
เที่ยวเนี่ยมีโครงร่างฟันยาวแค่ไหน
ไม่ยาวมาก You mean the tusk or the teeth? The tusk. If the tusk, the part of the tusk that export to the outside is only 15 to 70%. The remaining 80% will be inside the skull. But for the teeth,
Inside the tooth, it has a canal where the nerve and the blood come to.
right?
So
เพราะว่าสัตว์เนี่ยเรื่องไม่ยาก
Normally the holes of the teeth is not that deep. It's about to fit to the size of the teeth.
I think they may similar as elephant, similar proportion of elephant.
The reason I ask is that in case we need to cut it, how far we can go in before they start infection. Because I found one dugong stranded that has an infection. Remember that one in Rayong, and we had the infection that went through the canal, went inside the skull into the brain. That you follow the track of the pus. It went through, and actually not sure, maybe it even died, because it's like in the old days that human die when they have a toothache like that. So maybe thank you. Any question or anything? We have many experts here. Actually, it's a very good opportunity to share. Maybe can I a little bit introduce Mr. Kong Kiet, Dr. Kong Kiet. Actually, he is our host here, and he is now the director. Maybe can you tell in English, please?
My name is Kong Kiet. I am the Chief of Marine Endangered Species Unit. So I've been working together with my seniors already gone. Hi. Together with my senior biologists who already retired with the support. So our unit working on marine endangered species, as you know already. So we have been working on this group of animals for more than 17, 18 years right now. So we are glad that you are all here, and we hope that in the future we can have the cross cooperation that together with the coming and Asian community. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Actually, I have to say he's one of our best scientists in Thailand. Actually, the best right now that know all the, has been working in this for a very long while. By the way, Dr. Chawalit, I have one question that from the participants from Thailand. Mr. Vitya asking if he would like maybe everyone to share if there's any myth or any kind of a voodoo or beliefs in other places about, say in Thailand we believe that the love portion is made from dugong tear or something like this task can be used as maybe you can explain the Thai belief first and then
Yes, also in Malaysian one they call dugong ayamata, right? Dugong ayamata or tear of dugong is for not love portion but for something. If you put them in other girl, you are affected on her. She will love you. Even actually she never think to love you, something like that. That is the believing, but actually I never tried, so I can't.
Okay. One more question from Dr. Vincent, right?
Oh, yes, no, I was going to ask you about
Sorry.
Hi there, thank you for your presentation. I just wanted to ask you about the Amura whale. Are the asymmetrical coloration pattern and the lack of dorsal rostral ridge, are they now diagnostic for that species? Because we have, and Cindy and I were just talking about this morning, trying to how can you for sure differentiate between Brutus whale and Amura's whale? What are the characters we should look for when we have a stranding?
We use the ridge on the rostral first. If they're lacking of that, we overlap, but also you compare with another whale like fin whale or some other whale with other characters. They have some detailed characters. So many characters that I cannot remember which one for the fin whale and Omura whale, but the size also differently. But in case of the Omura whale and Buddha whale, the most distinctive one when they left only bone, that is the first rib. First rib of the Omura whale have bifurcated, but first rib of the fin whale have only one head. Not fin whale, Buddha whale have only one head. The first one.
Formations. Actually, it's Dr. Yamada who described between the two species, and from external morphology you can distinguish among the two species by looking at the ridge, number of the ridge. Number of the ridge on the forehead, one for the Buddha's whale and 3 ridge for the Omura. Vice versa. Sorry.
You're testing us.
Yeah, and also the color asymmetric between the left and right, also a difference. In Buddha whales, there are symmetric color. The color is similar between left and right. But for the Omura, I think it's paler on the right side. Yes, and actually from the skull morphology, you can easily distinguish among the two species also. But in detail, you can see it's already described in the manuscript by Dr. Yamada. About 6 areas that you can, but very obvious one, if you can get the first ribs. I think in Omura, they have Buddha have double head ribs, and Omura have only single head ribs. So you can usually, yeah.
And when they are younger, is it harder if they are juveniles or young animals? Or is it other?
Maybe Surasan would. Can you tell the difference between the young one and the adult one for the different species?
Or is it tricky?
Difficult to say because Buddha's whale, the young one is lighter. In my study area, we found only Buddha's whale and ตอนไหนที่มันมีหน้าซากหน้าสุดกินอะไรไม่ทันครับตัวที่ของเราประมาณเดือนนะครับ Last 2 months ago, we found a young Omura whale stranded in Pachon Bhutan. I saw the lower jaw on the right side of Omura whale is the color white color or like a paler color. When you compare with the right side and the left side, for Buddha's whale, that you see in this picture, the right side and the left side, the lower jaw is the color is similar, yeah, not different. Therefore, Omura's whale is different.
Even in the younger one?
Yeah.
So thank you everyone. So if you have any further question, you can ask our lecturer later. Because we will see each other all day. Yeah. Upon this occasion, may I invite Dr. Natrika to give a present to our speaker. Please, Doctor. Thank you once again.